how often are you going in person? And then how often are you doing it over the phone? And how does that system change for you? And like how many steps do you have on the phone compared to in person?
Sure. So we've transitioned pretty hard because we were heavy appointment. Remember
Oh
last
yeah.
year and the year before that, like we
Heavy.
were heavy going to every single appointment. And so, COVID changed that just a little bit. There were still people that would meet with you. And so I had to go back to my sales coach, right? Always learning, always trying to figure out how to pivot. And then probably in the middle of last year or towards the end of last year, we started transitioning like 80% on the phone, dude. So we just went hard, locking stuff over the phone, including when we had our biggest month over the phone was in December. Locking up deals in New Mexico, and then that just kind of trickled. Coming back to Phoenix in mid January, late early
Mhm.
February. So most of the stuff that I've gotten has been over the phone. This has been the first appointment that I've been to since probably, dude, I don't even remember, bro. Like 3 months, maybe. Most of the stuff now has been over the phone, 100%.
Wow.
Now, I don't. So here's everybody approaches different. Manny does it different. You guys probably do it different. I can probably say that I could lock something up on the first call, but that's not what I want to do. So my strategy is I have a strategy behind it. Like, especially on postcards and PPC leads, I like to do 2 calls. So on the second call, I'm sure going to lock it up no matter what, right? Unless something new information comes out and
Mhm.
there's no other else. But on the first call, what I like to do is, obviously I like to establish rapport, like to, establish the rules, go through some pain questions. And then what I like to do is figure out what are they trying to accomplish, right? What's the goal of them selling this property? So what I mean by that is asking them, like, what's your next step when you sell this property? Like, what's going on in your world? I mean, get them to open up and tell me what's going on. So, and then what I do is I ask them, like, what I've been doing lately is I'm always asking them, like, I don't even give out offers. I just ask them, like, Strand, it sounds like a great property. I'm assuming it's already paid off. No,
Right.
no, 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 it's not paid off. It's not paid off. I'm like, oh, okay. So ballpark, off the record, what do you think you owe? Oh, 100,000. Like it comes out like nothing,
Bro,
right?
that off the record thing is the most awkward thing of all time.
But it works, right? It works. Like I have not had one person say, like, what do you mean off the record?
Like, what do you mean off the record? What type of bullshit is this?
So, but I don't ask that until I figure out what the next steps are to close. I mean, after the close and after the sale, after they get their money. Because once they tell me, hey, I owe 100,000, and I say, okay, Strand, so we know that's got to be taken care of. We know we got to satisfy that 100,000. Do you mind if I ask you a question? Or I get that permission? Like, yeah, well, what's the question? So we know we got to do the 100,000. On top of that 100,000, what is that number that you would feel comfortable selling the property for to accomplish all the things that you told me earlier? And I'll just ballpark off the record. What is that number? Well, I mean, if I pay off the 100,000 and I get 80 on top of that, I think that would help me. And I'm like, $180,000. They're like, yeah, $180,000. So I'm looking at this and I got a property that's worth, 280, 290. I never negotiate. I went away from negotiating from what the market value is. I don't negotiate from that. I negotiate from what is owed and what they're trying to accomplish. So then now I say, okay, so, I don't know if I can do that. Remember, we got to strip line them because you can't get too excited. If you get more emotional than your prospect, you're dead, right? Because they're going to be like, is that too low or what's going on? So I strip line and say, like, okay, well, I don't know if I can do the 180, but let's pretend I can. What would happen next?
Great
That's
question.
kind of right? Create that commitment. Well, if you can do the 180 and, and you can pay me that, then I would sell to you, right? And so I lock them in. I lock them into that. And here's what I do next. Like, I know I got them locked in. And what I do is I can probably go to the close there if I wanted to, but I think my mindset is like the seller remorse is going to be a lot higher, locking them
A
up on
lot.
well,
Like,
a lot higher. What's that?
if it's that fast, I feel like it's a lot higher. You gotta make a you're working for it, right? So that way they aren't like, well, seller's
Exactly,
remorse.
exactly. So this is what I tell them, like, look, here's what I'm going to do. Let me talk to my partner. But I'm gonna go talk to him, you know, and if we're within that range, I'm not gonna come back and beat, especially if it's like a fat deal. This is what I tell him. I'm not gonna beat you up. I'm gonna talk to him, but let's pretend he says yes. I get another commitment because I want them to say yes at least twice, right? If he says yes, what would happen next? Well, like I told you earlier, if you give me the 180 and you guys are good with that, I will sell to you guys. Now they feel committed, right? Verbally, they're giving us a commitment. And then I said, okay, so let me look at this. Let me do my homework because I'm not 100% sure yet. And then what I say, so if you were me, when can I call you? When can I call you so I can talk to you about this again? I don't try to go the next day. If the next day, if they try to,
It's like you're never gonna get a hold of them, bro.
I got to make that call that same day, and I do it, and I only go as far as 2 hours. That's it. I give them about an hour to 2 hours, just depend on if they're working or if they're not working. But I always call back that same day. But the next call, I already got them committed, and I'm gonna struggle a little bit when I do the next call, and then I lock them up on the next call.